I think we can start. Shall not wait for everybody. Those who are online. So can you hear me very well?
Yes, sir.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, today we are going to look at what we call reasoning techniques in artificial intelligence. Okay. In our lives today, we apply reasoning. For that time, some people don't apply reasoning. In the previous chapter, which we saw that was the 8 puzzle, we saw that you cannot complete that puzzle unless you think very well or you reason very well of the next step. And we saw that if you don't reason very well, you may end up going back in the same position where you were. But if you reason before you make a movement, you realize that at least there's one movement which you not take because it is taking you back where you were. Then you choose others. Also, we realize that there are some conditions at times which may stop you from going where you are supposed to go or from making a move which you are supposed to make. So in reasoning techniques, we are going to see how decisions are made using reasoning. It's very bad if someone ever tells you that you don't reason. It's something very embarrassing and very bad if someone says you don't reason. What does a person mean if he says you don't reason? Or if someone tells you you reason like a young kid. Okay? So our goal in artificial intelligence is to create systems which can help human beings to easily do their work with little efforts in terms of disturbing the brains. You see, our brain looks as if it is small, but it is very complex. As much as machines will use algorithms, you cannot subject a human understanding to algorithms. Human brains are very, very complex. And that's why you see when a person loses the brain, chances are very minimal that this person is going to survive. So, reasoning is a fundamental aspect of artificial intelligence. It enables machines to make decisions, solve problems, and draw conclusions based on available information. If you look in our daily lives, we also draw conclusions based on, is my screen moving or is not moving? Do you see the second slide I'm on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it enables the machine to make decisions, solve problems, and draw conclusions based on available information. You remember the 8 puzzle. We have the initial state and we have the goal state. But what is the available information in the initial state? It is the available information in the initial state that is going to help us to reach the goal state. And also the available information in the initial state is giving us rules to follow. Okay? It is a problem which you want to solve, but what information do you have? Where is the space? Is it in the center? Is it in the corner? Is it on the edges? And if it is in the center, how many movements can I make? If it's on the edges, how many movements can I make? Okay? So you are making, in a way you're making, it is helping you to make decisions. And finally, we shall reach the goal state. In AI, reasoning techniques play a crucial role in modeling human-like intelligence. So you're going to see that most of the robots you are going to create, most of the AI systems you are going to create, like I'm going to give you a coursework after this lecture. I'll be giving a coursework, and this coursework will require you to use these reasoning techniques. Most of the techniques that you use, okay, to create these systems, we don't just create, no. Because remember, always our target is to create a machine that reasons like a human being. So we have to know exactly how do humans reason. When you look at that picture, this picture here, this man is trying to reason out something. Okay? When you look at him, you cannot just say, you don't think he's seated on that table eating food. No. He's trying to reason. And you can, as you can see, it is not an easy subject to reason. It is complex. Sometimes you need to bite your jaws in order to make a decision. So we want to make intelligent and facilitate intelligent behavior in machines. Artificial intelligence systems are designed to think and make decisions. So the systems we design, they are made to think and make decisions in ways similar to humans. This capacity is possible because of reasoning techniques. There's no way, I have already said, there's no way you're going to create a robot when you don't know reasoning techniques. You follow how human beings reason. Someone posted one time a video of these robots which are going into war. So when you see these robots, that video, if you go back and watch that video, posted it on a group, you said these robots at one time, they are going to fall down like a human being. At one time, they are going to stop and target the enemy, like a human being does. But you must understand how a human being reasons in order for you to create such a robot. So this capacity is possible because of reasoning technique, which allow machine to analyze information, apply logic, and derive conclusions. We are going to see types of reasoning, and we are going to see a type of reasoning that uses logic to get its conclusions. So in everyday life, humans constantly reason when solving problems, making judgments, or predicting outcomes. All of us will reason. And I'm sure deciding to come for this lecture, you have to weigh a lot of things. You have to use some reasoning. And you say, if I miss this lecture, what am I missing? If I turn into my bracket and I sleep, what am I gaining? Okay? And I'm sure there are some who have logged on and they have left the screen there and they have gone to do their own things. Okay? So in everyday life, humans constantly reason. Every day we reason. Every day. When you wake up, you start reasoning. You say, should I go here? Should I do this? Should I do this? All that is reasoning. When solving problems, making judgments, or predicting outcomes. AI systems attempt to simulate this reasoning process using structured techniques. On this side here, there's an example. Let me make my screen bigger so that you can see it very well. Okay. So we have a smart health diagnostic system in a hospital. Okay. So a hospital in Kampala installs an AI system that helps doctors to diagnose diseases. The system, now this system receives the patient's symptoms. You see, now when you go to developed countries, they are trying to do away with the doctors in hospitals. They are trying now to make systems, AI systems. When you go to a hospital, You talk to the AI system, it checks you and prescribes medicine without even seeing any doctor. So this is where the world is going. Now, this system is going to look at symptoms such as, do you have fever? Do you have persistent cough? Is there weight loss? So using stored medical knowledge, the AI system concludes that the patient may have tuberculosis because it has been programmed that whoever has fever, persistent cough, weight loss, most probably he has tuberculosis. And it is going to recommend either further testing or it is going to give a prescription of medicine. So the question here we can ask ourselves, how did the system arrive at this conclusion that this patient maybe has tuberculosis? How? Did the system guess or did it reason logically? Okay. So actually, when you look at this, it is not guessing. It is following some logical flow. It is looking at this person with a fever, persistent cough, weight loss. Then it makes a decision. And this is what we call reasoning. So we can say this machine is reasoning. You know, at times you can put a human being and the patient comes with a fever, persistent cough, weight loss, and the person says the person is suffering from stomachache. But the machine is so accurate to say this is tuberculosis. So by the end of this lecture, you should be able to explain the concept of reasoning in artificial intelligence, difference between major reasoning techniques used in AI, apply reasoning techniques to solve real-world problems, analyze case scenarios, and identify which reasoning method is being used. Design a simple rule-based reasoning example. Now, the coursework which I'm going to give you is going to involve all of these things. Okay? All of these will be applied in that coursework. And I urge you to do that coursework by yourselves. Please don't give it to other people. Don't put it in AI. Okay? Do it by yourselves. You'll learn a lot. And if you do it by yourself and you learn, definitely there's no way you can fail the exam. Okay, we start. What is reasoning in artificial intelligence? That is the question we're asking ourselves. So reasoning in artificial intelligence refers to the process of using available information to draw conclusions or make decisions. Mark that statement. The process of using available information to draw conclusions. Now the challenge is the available information we have, is it accurate? You know, sometimes I look at ladies, they have the available information. This man, he came back late last night. I'm sure he was with a woman. I'm sure he has a second woman. Now he goes to the man, why did you come back last night late? The man says, I came back last night because my car broke down on the way. I had to look for the mechanics. And so by the time they came, it was late. Then we fell into jam. The woman is going to say, no, you think I'm a fool. You think I don't understand. Because for you have already put in your head some available information that this man came back late because he has another woman, so he was with a woman. Now, to change that information, to understand what they are telling you, there is a problem. And for you have already made your conclusion. And then in the long run, you find a woman packing her bags and going. But the information she has is wrong. So it enables machines to solve problems, make predictions, understand relationships, support decision making, the available information. And that is why we tell you that not everything you find on ChatGPT is correct. It is a tendency to think that everything we find there is correct. But the thing is, that is the available information on ChatGPT. And the question is, who fed that information there? Okay. If the person who fed it there fed it wrongly, then it's going to give you wrong information. Remember where we started from. We looked at a cup, a fork, a spoon, and all of us, we agree that is a cup, that is a fork, that is a spoon. Okay. But that is the available information you have had from your nursery school. But what if someone comes and says, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. What we called a cup was not a cup. Okay. So key concepts of reasoning. Please mute your mics in order. Who is that one giving us our time? Okay, key concepts of reasoning. We have premises. Those are facts. We are going to see the premises. Those are facts or unknown information. Okay. Now, when you have premises, remember that lady whom I've told you. Her premises are, this man came back last night late. He was with another woman. Okay. Now, are these facts or this is unknown information? Because for in her mind, she has the man came back late because he was with another woman. Now, the question is, are these facts or unknown information? Then we have what we call the logical process, applying rules or logic. Applying rules or logic. Then we are going to look also, finally, we have the conclusion. So final result is derived from reasoning. So we are going to see different types of reasoning, which can help you to reach the final result. So the various types of reasoning, which can help you to reach a final result are, we have what we call the deductive reasoning, we have inductive reasoning, abductive reasoning, rule-based reasoning, and reasoning under certainty. So these five types of reasoning, either you have been using them, and if you don't use any of this, then your most probably people are going to say you don't reason. So you either use deductive reasoning, we are going to see what it is, or you use inductive reasoning, abductive reasoning, rule-based, or reasoning under. And this is how God has created humans. This is how God has created humans. So if God has created humans like this, and we are imitating humans in designing our systems, so that means our systems we design, if you're designing a robot, if you're designing an AI system, like a system I'm going to give you for coursework. So you are going to choose, either you are going to use deductive reasoning, or you are going to use, or your system is going to use inductive reasoning, or your system will use abductive reasoning, or rule-based reasoning, or reasoning under certainty. After knowing which type of reasoning your system is going to use, then it is easy for you to design this system. Otherwise, if you don't choose in the first place which type of reasoning your system will use, you will end up failing onto the final conclusion of your system. Let's begin with deductive reasoning. So deductive reasoning involves deriving specific conclusions from general principles or premises. So there are premises, there are principles that you look at. And from those premises, then you make a conclusion. And this follows a top-down approach where conclusions are logically inferred from known facts or rules. From known facts or rules. Now, before that lady makes a conclusion that this man was a woman, first get the known facts. Wait for this man to come and say, honey, welcome back. How was your day? You are trying to set your premises. How was your day? And the man is going to say, my day was good. But as I was coming back, this and this happened. And then in your head, you're going to say, oh, this is why I came late. Because the conclusion is within the premises. Okay? Because now these are facts. The conclusion is within the premises. Okay? When you look at this premise here, you say all men are stupid. Okay? All men are stupid. Now, after saying all men are stupid, someone says your dad is stupid, and then you fight. But it's you who said all men are stupid. Mere fact you are saying all men are stupid, it is enough to mean that also your father is stupid because your father is also a man. Now, if you tell me all men are stupid, and ladies use this, abasajja bonna basiru. Okay? So it means also your father is stupid. Okay? Because there's that next premise which is coming, which is a child premise from the parent premise. I hate women. Yes, you hate women, but your mother is a woman, so you hate your mother as well. Okay? God is love, and love is blind. Therefore, see, so it follows a top-down approach where conclusions are logically inferred from known facts or rules. So we look at premises, then we get logical processes, that is application of premises to specific cases, and then we create a conclusion that is the outcome based on premises. So it is impossible for the premises to be true and the conclusion to be false. It is impossible. If you say all men are stupid, and I say your father is stupid, then you fight with me. The moment you say all men are stupid, and if your father is a man, it means unless your father is not a man. But if you say all men are stupid, and for me I conclude that your father is stupid, why are you fighting with me? Because if the premises are correct, there is no way the conclusion can be false. Okay? So when you look at this inductive reasoning, we see its structure. We see its structure. And this structure, I don't know if people are making some notes there because there are some things I'm mentioning which are not in the slides there because I can't put everything in the slide. Now, when you look at the structure of the deductive reasoning, it has two premises and a conclusion. The first premise is what we call the general rule. Now, like all men are stupid, that is the general rule. We have set a general rule that all men are stupid. Okay? But when we go to the second premise, that is the child premise, it looks at a specific case. It looks at a specific case. And here, the specific case now is my father is a man. The general rule, all men are stupid. And now when we look at the next premise, which is now the specific case of my father is a man. Okay? So the logical result out of it, this is a logical flow. The logical result out of it, that is a conclusion. The conclusion is what we call the logical result. Now, the logical result is that your father is also stupid because he's a man. So here we have what we call, in deductive reasoning, we have what we call a general rule, we have a specific case, and we have a logical result. So if you're designing an AI system using deductive reasoning, it means your system is going to have a general rule or general rules. Then it's going to look at specific case, and it's going to, you remember the example we said of this example. The general rule looks at fever, persistent cough, and weight loss. That is the general rule. Now, the specific case is this patient has come, and this patient has fever, persistent cough, and weight loss. So if the other one is flowing from this one, then the logical result is this patient has tuberculosis. Okay, so that is deductive reason. It is impossible for the premises to be true and the conclusion to be false. So there we look at a general rule, specific case, and logical result. Then let's look at, but before we look at inductive reasoning, I want you to write down this, and then you can go and analyze it. Let's look at an example of a bank. And this bank has an AI system, which is used to evaluate loans applications. Let us take our mind to the bank, loans section there, okay? And this bank has an AI system, which is used to evaluate loans application. Now, this system has rules which are stored in the system. It has rules. And rule number one, if a customer has good credit history and stable income. Rule number one, if a customer has good credit history and stable income, the loan should be approved. If this customer is applying for the loan and his credit history is okay, his income is stable, then the loan is approved. That's rule number one. Then rule number two, if this customer, actually rule number two comes from rule number one. Otherwise, if this customer, his credit history is not okay and the income is not stable, then the loan will not be approved. Okay. Now here comes a customer. Here comes a customer. He has good credit history and he has stable income. So what do you think the system will do to this customer? What do you think the system will do to this customer? Karen, have you heard me very well?
Pardon, sir. I beg your pardon.
We are looking at a bank which has a loan management system.
We are looking at a bank which has a loan management system.
We are looking at a bank with a loan management system. Now, this bank has a rule in the system. If the customer has a good credit history and his credit and his income is stable, then the loan will be approved. On the other hand, if his credit history is not okay and his income is not stable, the loan will not be approved. Now, here comes Karen in the bank. Karen needs a loan. So what the loan officer is going to do is going to put in Karen into the system. And when he puts in Karen into the system looks at Karen's credit history. Has this person ever borrowed money? If he borrowed money, was he paying on time? Has he got penalties? Has he borrowed from other banks? Oh, that is credit history. Has he borrowed money from mobile money? You see, some of you borrow money from mobile money and you don't pay. You don't know that these people are tracking you, they're following you. There's what they call the Credit Reference Bureau. Some of you borrow, after borrowing mobile money, then you throw away that card. But remember, there's a credit history which is following you. Now you go to the bank, they tell you, 2 years back, you borrowed money from MTN, you never paid back. Can you first pay back? I remember I had a scenario last year. Last year I went to Central Bank to get a loan. I wanted to make a building. So when I went to get a loan, they looked at my credit history. And then they told me, yes, you would have qualified to get this loan, but Airtel was still demanding 2,000. Actually, you bought 2,000 from Airtel. Now it has accumulated and is 8,000. Unless you pay it, there's no way you can get a loan in any bank. And I told them, come on, The way you look at me, you think I can borrow 2,000 from Airtel. Just 2,000, and even I failed to pay back. I denied. They told me no. You go to Airtel and talk to them. For us, we are seeing Airtel is now demanding 8,000 from you. You borrowed 2,000. And I was so disturbed by this. Now, when I went to Airtel, Airtel looked at the numbers in my names. I had 4 numbers in my names. And 2 numbers, one was for the maid at home, and another one was for the shamba boy at my farm. And now they told me this is the number which borrowed the 2,000 and has not yet paid back. Now to check that number, it was the number of my shamba boy at the farm. But he borrowed the 2,000 without my consent, but it is in my names, and me, I'm affected in a bank. So I had now to pay that boy's money, the 8,000, in order for Airtel to clear me so that I can get the big loan which I want. You can imagine the loan which I wanted to construct a building. Now the 2,000 the boy borrowed, I could not borrow. So there is the system, because the system for it is saying, how is your credit history? And the credit history say you borrowed 2,000 and you do not pay back. So if you cannot pay back at 2,000, are you going to pay back the millions of money if you are afraid to pay back the 2,000? So the system is going to look at your credit history, then it's going to look at your income. Is it stable? Okay, so that is what we call deductive reasoning. So Karen, have you got the scenario now?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
now
sir.
Karen,
Now, Karen,
to,
you're going to,
will they give you the loan or
will
not?
they give you the loan or not?
Will they give you the loan or not? Your credit history is okay. Your income is stable. What is the system going? Is it going to approve the loan or it's going to disapprove the loan? Okay, as she's thinking, let us go to the next slide. That is inductive reasoning. So inductive reasoning is the ability to combine pieces of information that may seem unrelated to form general rules or relationships. That is a definition which I got from University of Illinois. So University of Illinois, for them, they look at inductive reasoning as the ability to combine pieces of information that may seem unrelated to form general rules or relationships. For example, you may look at a university girl. She's wearing miniskirts. And when she puts on a dress, the dress is too short, only to cover just only the knicker. And when she tries to put on like men, she's going to put on a short which is short. You know, there are some shorts which are short, and there are some shorts which are long. So when she decides to put on like a man, she'll put on a short which is short. You see, today there are some girls, we have these things, you call them bikers. They are supposed, the Chinese made these things when they're supposed to be worn inside the skirt or the dress. But today you're going to find a girl on campus walking gently in it. No, she puts on that thing which is supposed to be inside, not to be seen by anybody. And for her, that is a shirt she has put on, and she's walking. So people are going to combine pieces of information. The other time she put on a miniskirt. Now when she puts on a dress, the dress is just short to cover only the essentials. And when she puts on like a man, she gets the biker, which is supposed to be inside, is one which she puts on. So from the pieces of information these people are going to correct, then these people are going to say, this girl is a prostitute. Okay. Definitely, you may not be a prostitute, but the pieces of information these people are collecting. The other day we saw him with another boy. The other time he was with another man in the car. The other time he put on a miniskirt, and the miniskirt was also so short. The other time, so when people gather these pieces of information, they are going to say, this girl is a prostitute. So that's why the University of Illinois says inductive reasoning is the ability to combine pieces of information that may seem unrelated. Now, my putting on a miniskirt has nothing to do with me being a prostitute. So which may seem unrelated to form general rules or relationships. So inductive reasoning involves making generalizations or predictions based on observed patterns or data. Generalizations, in philosophy, there's what we call a fallacy of generalization. Okay, so it follows a bottom-up approach where specific observations lead to generalized conclusions. This man, the other time, he came back late. And when I checked his phone, he last talked to a woman. And I don't know that woman. Again today, this man has come back late. And when I check his phone, again he last talked to a woman. So it means this man, by coming back late, he's always coming from a woman. Because when he comes back late, I check his phone, the last number he called is a woman. So this man. So when you look at inductive reason, remember deductive reason, we saw that our conclusion is coming from premises. And we said it has a general rule, it has a specific case, and it has logical results. But the inductive reasoning comes from observations. What people observe generally is where they get their conclusions from. Then patterns of the observations. Remember the other girl, a pattern of her way of dressing. People are observing how of dressing, the people she goes out with, at what time she comes back. Then am I wrong to make a general conclusion and I say, therefore this girl is a prostitute? So whereas the conclusion of a deductive argument is certain, given the premises, so the conclusion is certain given the premises are correct. In contrast, the truth of the conclusion or inductive argument is a best probable. Yes, you may have your premises. Remember, in deductive reasoning, we said, if the premises are correct, there's no way the conclusion can be wrong. All men are stupid. My father is a man. But here we are looking at observations. But these are just certain. We are not sure that our observations lead us to give us a rightful conclusion. So in contrast, the truth of the conclusion of an inductive argument is a it's a probability. It is a probability. Yes, the man came back late the other time and you check the phone, the last person was a woman. Even this time he has come back late, you check the phone, the last person is a woman. It's not enough to conclude that this man always comes back late because it's from a woman. Maybe today the car broke down on the way. Maybe today they had too much work at the workplace. And maybe even that woman whom he's talking to is the mother. Every evening he has to talk to his mother or his sister every evening. Or even that woman he talks to lastly is the supervisor. The supervisor is not around and he has to call to give a report of what happened. So we are saying your conclusion is a probability. So based upon the evidence given. Machine learning algorithms such as decision trees, all this now you see them. So these ones, they follow this type of reasoning. Okay? So we are saying inductive reasoning uses a bottom-up approach. The other one was using a top-bottom, but this one is using a bottom-up approach. And we are saying the conclusion is probable, but not guaranteed. So yes, the girl might be a prostitute, but it's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee because she's putting on short dresses, therefore she's a prostitute. No, it's not a guarantee. However, she may be a prostitute, but this is not a guarantee that based on what you have observed. Okay? Sometimes we observe things the wrong way. Okay? An example we can give, the sun today rose in the east. And even yesterday, it came from the east. Even the other day, the sun came from the east. So our conclusion, the sun always rises in the east. Okay? Because this has come, and then we are going to read now, we are going to start reading books, and we are going to write geography books, and we are going to read in geography books, the sun rises from the east. Why? Because someone has observed it continuously. And today you are struggling to cram that the sun is rising from the east. Now, what if someone tomorrow comes and observes that not always that is coming from the east? So you see, most of these books we are reading, they are coming from such inductive reasoning. People have observed the patterns. People have observed the way things are done. And people have come up to write notes, to write books, and we are cramming those ones now. So conclusion is likely, but based on patterns. So it could be wrong. You can challenge that book today. Okay? Now, for example, if you're designing an e-commerce website, online shopping website, okay? Now, like today, I went to Jumia and I wanted a heavy duty printer. But some time back, I went to Jumia and I checked printers. Now, when I went to Jumia to check printers, they showed me those which I searched before. Some of the printers which I looked at before. So, if such a system was designed using some inductive reasoning. So a customer A bought a laptop and a bag. So you go to Jumia, customer A, you buy a laptop, you buy also a bag. Now customer B also comes tomorrow to Jumia, also he buys a laptop and a bag. Now also customer C comes and buys a laptop and a bag. Okay? Now, this Jumia system is going to observe and says, hey, these people, whenever they buy a laptop, they buy also a bag. Whenever they buy a laptop, they buy also a bag. So the system is going to conclude that whoever buys a laptop has to buy a bag, because usually buying a laptop follows a bag. So the system now, the moment you buy a laptop, it is going to bring for you also bags, because it knows everybody who buys a laptop buys a bag. So the moment you buy a laptop, it's going to say, also there is this bag which is good for this laptop, because it is sure you are also going to buy that bag. Okay? And that is what we call inductive reasoning. Any questions so far? Now, from the inductive reasoning, we have seen that at some time, it may produce wrong results. Now, can someone tell me why at some time the inductive reasoning can produce wrong results? Yes? Someone is saying, I beg your pardon about the rules now. I don't know even which rule now, because I'm just seeing the message now. Yes?
Inductive reasoning sometimes gives us wrong results because it only follows the pattern before observed. It doesn't follow facts. It only follows the patterns observed to give us a conclusion.
Yes, anyone else? Some people are typing in the chat. Someone says, the observations are not fact. It was before when giving an example. Okay, all right. So,
It depends on probability.
yes,
It's because it depends on probability. So there are chances of either the information being correct or wrong.
Now, my question to you is, would you prefer to use deductive reasoning or you prefer to use inductive reasoning? Which one of the two is the best?
Deductive.
Hmm?
Deductive.
So for you, inductive is the best.
Deductive.
Hmm? Esther, which one is the best for you? Esther, is Esther there? Adela, Adela, which one is the best for you? People logged in and went back to the brackets.
Deductive.
Deductive. But why do women use inductive? Lubanga Kene says inductive. So the choice is yours. We have seen the inductive and we have seen the deductive. So you look at yourself when you are making conclusions. Do you use premises? Do you use observations? Okay. Let's go to the third one. That is abductive reasoning. So abductive reasoning involves inferring the best explanation or hypothesis to explain observed facts or data. Okay, now look here, it is saying observed facts or observed data. Okay, that is abductive reasoning. For it, it is building where the inductive reasoning is ending. Yes, it is also using observation, but it gets an explanation of what it has observed. I have observed this girl putting on miniskirts. I have observed this girl moving out with men in the evening. I have observed this girl putting on short dresses, which are just long enough to cover only the essentials. And I have observed this girl putting on bikers, which are supposed to be inside. But I'm not yet going to conclude that this girl is what? Is a prostitute. It's not enough for me to conclude that she's a prostitute. I go ahead to find out, why does this girl put on short dresses? Maybe in my explanation, I will discover that in the family where she comes from, even her mother dresses like that. And maybe she copied the dressing from her mother. And she's not a prostitute, but this is the kind of dressing she has grown up into. Okay? Last night, I was on a certain forum of groups of students, one of the course students I teach for distance students. And a student attacked me seriously. Seriously attacked me to the extent and asking me, where do you get the authority to talk like that? Do you have any authority to talk like that? And then it seems some students realize that maybe the student is not aware that he's talking to a lecturer. Then maybe they went to his inbox or called him, I don't know. Then what followed next is the student to call me to apologize, to say, sir, I'm very, very sorry. I didn't know I thought I was talking to a fellow student. And then I told the student, yes, whether you are talking to a lecturer or not, whether if you are talking to a fellow student, you ought to be polite. Because yes, this may be your fellow student, but he's a student or she's a student, but he's a mother somewhere, he's a father somewhere, he's a manager somewhere managing people. So if you don't know who you're talking to, be polite. But what does this one tell me? That this boy, wherever he was brought up in their family, they don't have politeness. They don't respect people. Okay? Because the way the guy was talking, you really see he has no single respect in his tongue. Okay? And this one draws back from where our families, where we come from. The explanation is given that this boy, where he's coming from, he has been brought up like that. They don't have respect for anyone. And at times, this is a time for man you are going to get married to. Because for you, you have seen the boy is dressing very well, he's driving a car, and for your premises, well, if the boy is handsome, he has money, I'll get married to the boy. Okay? If the girl is beautiful, she has nyash, she's chocolate color, nice eyes, I'll get married. Okay? So when you look at abductive reasoning, it seeks explanation of the hypothesis to explain observed facts. Yes, you have the car, but where did you get it from? Where did you get the car from? I go further to know where this car came from. Yes, you are giving me every week. I'm your girlfriend, and every week you are sending me 500,000 for upkeep. Where do you get this 500,000? Do you know there are some women who don't even know the job their husbands are doing? Maybe this man is killing people to get money. And tomorrow, if he has no one to kill, he's going to kill you. So it is commonly used in diagnostic systems and reasoning under uncertainty. Example, you have observation. The man is smelling alcohol. Okay? You don't jump to a conclusion because the man is smelling alcohol, therefore the man is drunk. No. Yes, you have observed that the man is smelling alcohol. But it's not enough to say that because he's smelling alcohol, therefore the man is drunk. No. You look at a hypothesis. Maybe this man took too much alcohol. Maybe someone poured the alcohol on him. Okay? But after this hypothesis, then you take out the most likely one. Okay? You take out the most likely one. I don't think someone poured. Why should someone even pour alcohol on this man? Why? This man must have drunk the alcohol. Then you come to a conclusion and say, most probably he took too much what? Alcohol. That's why he's smelling alcohol. Remember the other man who comes back home late? He has come driving. As a woman, you say, oh, maybe my husband, the car broke down on the way. I know he's working in the bank, and sometimes they take long to balance. Maybe he has taken long balancing up the books. Okay? But this man usually, he comes home and says, I've been balancing the books and so on. But this time he has come home very stressed, and even he has just gone to the bed to sleep. Maybe he has had a quarrel with someone. Maybe the car broke on the way. Then you say, I think if it was balancing the back, he would have come back in the normal way with the Kavera. Even he would have said, yeah. But now he has come back stressed. Most probably it is the car this time. It is not the bank. Okay? Then you come up with a conclusion. Are we together? So this reasoning often involves making educated guesses. You mark that word, educated what? Guesses. Based on incomplete or uncertain data. So we make educated guesses based on incomplete or uncertain data. So in AI, abductive reasoning is employed in expert systems. We are going to look at expert systems. That is our next chapter. We shall look at expert systems, diagnostic systems, and Bayesian networks to infer probable causes or explanations for observed phenomena. So in brief, when you look at abductive reasoning, it tries to find the most likely explanation for an observation. So for it, it's looking for an explanation. What is the best explanation? Okay? Before it makes a conclusion, what is the best explanation of all what I'm thinking? And for me, when I look at abductive reasoning, I see it good because you are going to make a decision, which decision you can defend. Okay? And this one, we are seeing it is mainly used in medical diagnosis. When you go to a hospital, The doctor is going to look at your history. Have you ever suffered from this? Have you ever taken this medicine? Okay. He's going to look at your history, how you have been behaving in the past, your health, how it has been. And it's going to, from this history, normally when you go to the hospital, the doctors are going to ask us our health history. And then from this history, is able to say, oh, you are having headache because of this. You are having ulcers because of this. You're having stomachache because of this. You're having malaria because of this. He's going to look at your credit history. Okay? So mainly, when you design a hospital management system, most probably you're going to use abductive reasoning. Then we look at fault detection. It also helps us to those people like the police, crime investigation, the police. You see the lawyers, when you go to court, they are going to, you remember when you are, when the police gets you, they are going to say you are free to remain, something, a statement, I'm not sure. Is it you are free to remain silent, but whatever, when you talk, whatever you say, it may be used against you in court, something like that. Okay? So sometimes the court follows this abductive reasoning. The police in crime investigation, they use this abductive reasoning. In fault detection, did this person really do this? Okay? You have heard people say, when people get rich, then they change their behavior. They start behaving like this. Why? Because people have observed how rich people behave. People have observed the people when they are poor and when they get rich. Okay? An example I can give, you can look at the grass when it is wet. Like the other man of the alcohol, the grass is wet. Now, if the grass is wet, the possible explanation could be it rained. But also, maybe someone came and sprinkled water on it. Okay? Now, of the two, did it rain? Did someone sprinkle water on it? But most likely, the best answer would be it rained. Otherwise, why do someone come with water and sprinkle on the grass? After all, water is expensive to buy. Okay? And even the energy used and so on. So it rained. Are we together? Okay, let's look at a case scenario of cybersecurity. In cybersecurity, we see like the police analyzing. I can give you an example. The Bank of Uganda at one time, it lost, was it? I don't remember. Is it 60 billion? I'm not so sure, but something like that. So if you are to investigate such a case, are you going to use deductive, inductive, abductive? You wake up, Bank of Uganda, 60 billion is gone. That is cyber theft. Now, which reasoning are you going to use to get to these thieves? Yes, can anyone tell us and give us reasons why? Cyber security. Central bank, they come, money is gone. No one can attempt that. If it came in the exam, everybody would fail. I'm saying abductive reasoning. Okay. Let's go to another type. That is analogical reasoning. This one comes from the word analogy. Analogical reasoning involves drawing parallels or making analogies between different situations or domains to solve problems who make decisions. So you look at things parallel. And you know parallel in our mathematics. What are parallel lines from mathematics? Parallel lines.
Lines that don't meet.
Lines that don't meet. Okay. So we make analogies between different situations. You look at different situations. And I think men, when they are looking for the woman to marry, they use analogical reasoning. So these men are very clever. He's going to get Sandra, but he's going to get Barbara as well. Now, Barbara doesn't know that this man has Sandra, and Sandra doesn't know the man has Barbara. When Sandra comes to his room on Monday, he makes sure Barbara will come on Wednesday. And even Sandra will not know that Barbara was there on Wednesday, neither will the other not. And now these girls are very clever. When they are leaving, they leave their dress around. They make sure they leave a knicker in the bathroom. And now this clever John, the moment Barbara goes out, John makes sure whatever Barbara has left, he puts it in the bag and puts it under the bed. So that the other one doesn't know. So he's studying these two to determine who to marry, and he's studying them at parallel. No one should know that he's studying also the other. Everybody thinks he's studying only me. And then finally, John is going to make a decision from the two. Men, is that what you do? Oh, hope abawala si bategudde. Men, is that true or I'm telling false against men?
Master kati byatuukamu abasajja bye bagenda kwamu.
Eh?
These days things change. Men, they are the ones who go to women's places.
Oh, so it is women who make sure that when John is here today, tomorrow it is Peter who is here. It
Yes.
is now the vice versa.
Yes.
I don't know those things. It is really the younger ones. Me, I'm an old man. Someone saying no. Someone said Tamale can answer that. Maybe knows Tamale very well. So it relies on identifying similarities and transferring knowledge from one context to another. Now, Barbara's context is not the context of Joan. When Barbara comes to my house, Barbara cleans the house, she cooks, she does this and this. And when Joan comes to my house, Joan says, baby, can we get a cleaner to clean for us? Can we go to the restaurant and we buy food? Now, you see, these are two different. So you are studying. Then you ask yourself, if I marry Barbara, I think my home, she will cook for me, she will clean my home and so on. But when I marry Joan, it means I have to have money for restaurants. I have to have money for cleaners. I have to have money for house girls. Okay? But none of them knows that you are studying in here. Everybody knows I'm the only one. Then tomorrow, you are going to make a decision and you go. Then Joan is going to say, the man you have been seeing, the man married. He married? Yes, he married a girl. Where did he get that? All along I have been this man, he has been using me and so on. No, he has not been using you. He has been studying you in order to get the best choice. As he was studying you, he was studying also another one. So case-based reasoning systems and analogical reasoning algorithms use analogical reasoning to solve problems based on past experience or similar cases. Based on past experience. This man has experienced Joan and he has experienced Barbara. And from that past experience, he's able to say, if I take Joan, this will be my fate. If I take Barbara, this will be my fate. Okay? Is it clear? Oh,
It is.
Yes, yeah.
so that one looks at parallel lines. These lines don't meet, as someone told us. They don't meet. And no line should know that even also the other line is passing by. Okay. But in the way, we are getting experience from the other line and experience from this line, then to choose which one to take. Then we go to another type. Seems I skipped another one, which is the rule-based reasoning. This one, it may not be in the slides, but you can write the rule-based reasoning, but in the first place, we talked about it. Now, for the rule-based reasoning, it uses the if-then rules, and this is going to mainly be the one which we are going to use in the AI. I don't know why I skipped it in the slides here, but that is the rule-based reasoning technique, which most AI systems use. And that one uses the if-then rules, which are stored in knowledge base. We shall look intensively at the rule if-then statements. We shall look at them as we go ahead, I think, in the next class. Okay? Rule-based reasoning. So it is stored in the if-then rules. So it is widely used in expert systems, as we shall see. When we are we are going to come to expert systems. And these expert systems, they use the if-then statement. And you have always used it in programming. For example, if the temperature is greater than 38 degrees Celsius and the patient has cough, now we are looking at a hospital system. If you are designing a hospital system, so if the temperature is greater than 38 degrees Celsius and this person has a cough, so this person most probably has an infection. Okay. Also, next example I can give is an agricultural system. You see, people, I'm already giving even research topics. Some of you don't have research topics. Now, I'm giving you already research topics. I have given you one, a hospital management system. That is a research topic which you can work on and use your AI reasoning techniques to come up with a diagnostic system for a hospital. There's also you can come up with an agricultural expert system, which a farmer can use to diagnose the crops, the diseases. Someone is using that. Okay, you can come up with that one. So if the leaves are yellow, and your system looks at the leaves, if these leaves are yellow and the soil moisture is low, then this crop needs irrigation. Last year, I supervised a student, and this student, for him, he went, okay, there's irrigation, but his system went deeper. The system he designed was looking at the soil moisture. And for him, he made a chip, and this chip was put in the soil and connected on the irrigation system. Now, this chip was looking at the moisture of the soil. If the chip senses that there's not enough water in the soil, it will automatically turn on the irrigation system. There, you don't need to be there on your farm, no. The irrigation system turns itself on automatically by the sensor sensing that there's not enough water in the soil, so it will turn on. But if this sensor senses that yes, there's not enough water in the soil, but according to the weather, it is going to rain in the next 2 hours. It will not turn on the irrigation because it is going to waste the irrigation now. After all, it is going to rain in the next 2 hours. But for the human beings, someone is going to irrigate in the morning and at 10 it is going to rain. Okay, but now this boy came up with a sensor system which helps this farmer, even if he's not around, the irrigation will turn on itself automatically, and it will not. Okay, so you can come up with such an agricultural expert system. Those of you don't have topics. Okay. Then another reasoning is the reasoning under certainty, which also I don't have here. but I mentioned it in the start. Reasoning under certainty. Remember, there were 5 types. We have seen the deductive, we have seen the inductive, we have seen the abductive, we have seen those 3. Then there is reasoning rule-based, and then reasoning under certainty. Now, reasoning under certainty, that is incorporate or uncertain. However, these reasonings, you see that they're embedded within the other first ones. They come from the other first one, but our expert systems mainly use these ones. So they look at probability mainly. That is under certainty, we look at probability. And the decision is usually made under when we are uncertain. So these 2, they come from the other ones, but mainly our expert systems are based on these ones. So application of reasoning techniques in AI, we have knowledge representation. So reasoning techniques are used to represent knowledge in artificial intelligence systems using formal languages such as logic and ontologies. We have seen logic in deductive reasoning. Now ontology, this is the nature of reality. So you see, when you look at the universe, the world has existed before us and it will exist even after us. Although some people think they are the beginning of the world and they are the end of the world. You see people treating others as if they own this world. Okay? But the world has existed, the universe has existed before us, and after us it will exist. That's why some people say nensi tugiryako makoola. So it's like plucking off leaves from the tree. Okay? That tree, even if you put on, it will put on other leaves. Okay? So that is the nature of reality. Now, in AI systems, when we develop these AI systems, we just seek to understand how God created this universe and how we can transform it. But we shall leave it there. Today, when you make tiles out of stones, you can never finish the stones in the world. Tomorrow, another person is going to come and says, these people are wasting stones to make tiles out of stones. You can make a metal out of stones. Another one will make metals out of stones. Tomorrow, as another one is making metals out of stones, another maybe 20 years to come, people will start making food out of stones. People say, people are wasting these stones. They are just stepping on them. This was food. And people are going to make food and put in the supermarkets made from stones. Today, I hear we are eating plastic rice. We are eating plastic eggs. Those things are plastic. Now, whoever knew that they can make plastic rice and you cook it and you eat it? Whoever knew that you can eat a plastic egg? But this is where we are today. Okay? So ontology is the philosophical study of being in general, or of what applies naturally to everything that is real. And that was the first philosophers. So knowledge bases and expert systems rely on reasoning to infer new knowledge from existing knowledge. Yes, you have the existing knowledge, and your existing knowledge is say stones can be used to create tiles. That is existing knowledge. Okay? But can you go ahead using reasoning techniques to get new knowledge out of it, such that you can use stones to make food? Okay? If you have a question, you can ask at any moment. But if there is no decision making and problem solving, AI systems employ reasoning techniques to make decision and solve complex problems. So decision support systems, planning algorithm, and optimization techniques use reasoning to find optimal solutions. In the decisions these AI systems use, they apply the reasoning techniques which we have seen. We have natural languages. Reasoning is essential for natural language understanding, AI, semantic analysis, and so on and so forth. machine learning. Okay, so let's look at the challenges and future directions. Scalability and efficiency. So one challenge in reasoning techniques for AI is scalability and efficiency, especially when dealing with large knowledge-based system or complex problems. So when you are designing an AI system, you must look at issue of scalability. Yes, today you are designing a system to manage Nkumba University, but Nkumba University has 1,000 students. Now, after 10 years, Nkumba University is going to have 15,000 students. Is your system scalable enough to still contain the 15,000 students? Or for it, you say, for me, I was made to manage only 1,000 students. And you are going to see also some of us in our lives. Some of us in our lives, we say, they tell you, you are going to do this course. You say, that course is for men. For me, I'm a woman. For me, I can't do those. Those are for men. You are going to do engineering. Engineering, that is for men. That is not for us, for women. We do BBA. Okay? Scalability. Is your reasoning scalable enough to accommodate even more complex issues? Okay? So research focuses on developing scalable reasoning algorithms and optimization techniques. That is why when you are doing research, we are going to ask, you are going to tell us your limitations, and then you are going to give the future researchers a direction, what they can add on this, because you're not the end. And that's why we tell you to do literature review. Because some people have done already they have discovered knowledge in that area. You are not going to be the first one, no. That is why we are saying ontology. The universe has existed ever before you existed. The universe has been there. On the first day of creation, it was there. And don't think that your research is going to change the universe. There's a saying which is saying there's nothing, you are not going to invent anything new under the sun. Okay? So when you are doing your research, know that you are building on knowledge, you are scaling, you are adding. That's what we call scalability. We are adding on what has been there before. And that's the research we are doing. That's why you said today we have robots which can even go to war. At first, when they designed the first robot, it could not go to war. Today we have robots which can bear children. At first, we didn't have those robots. Today we are having robots. Remember, we have started from our discussion. We appreciated that now people are making robots to substitute women in the homes. Okay? And we said that these robots don't have feelings. However much they are substituting a woman in a home, but it has no feeling. But the question is, who knows in the next 20 years whether there will be a robot which has feelings, like the same feelings of a woman? Who knows where we should have, where we can even have a robot which goes to periods, like a woman goes to periods. Okay? So scalability, how far can we go in designing these systems? Uncertainty, we have looked at uncertainty and incomplete information in our reasoning. So handling uncertainty and incomplete information is another challenge in reasoning. Handling uncertainty and incomplete information. How best can we get the best conclusion from the uncertainty and incomplete information? So probability reasoning, fuzzy logic, and uncertainty modeling techniques are areas of ongoing research to address these challenges. Okay? The machines which we use, sometimes they get incomplete information and then they make a conclusion. Okay? Then integrating multiple reasoning approaches. We have seen various reasoning approaches. How do we integrate all these into a system? We have seen that a human being can use either deductive reasoning, he can use inductive reasoning, It can use abductive reasoning. Okay. Now, if a human being can use deductive, inductive, abductive, how do we integrate this into our machine to make sure they can use different types of reasoning approaches? Okay, that's also a challenge when you're designing an AI system. How do you integrate all these types of reasoning? And when should a system use inductive reasoning? When should a system use abductive reasoning? When should a system use deductive reasoning? Now, the major challenge of AI systems is now the ethical part of it. Ethical part of it. When you go to Google and you want to search pornography, Google is going to ask you to fill in your age. If you put in an age which is less than 18 years, it is going to stop you from going to the pornographic site. But now the challenge comes here. If I'm 15 years and Google asks me my age and I put 22, is Google able to tell that no, this person actually has put 22 but is 15? So that is now ethical consideration. As AI systems become more sophisticated, ensuring ethical reasoning and explainability of decisions are crucial areas of research. That is a crucial area of research. Yes, the system is asking me my age, and I have put 22. But can you imagine if it was a human being? If it is a human being and they say this alcohol is not to sell to people under 18 years, we don't sell alcohol to minors. Now, if a child of 15 years comes to your shop and says, I need Uganda Warach, and there is a rule which said is not sold to persons of below 18 years to minors. Now, the human being, you're able to look at this child and say, how old are you? Who's going to take Uganda Warach? And the child say, yeah, me, I'm 25. Then you say, no, you can't be 25. When were you born? Then the kid say, hey, when I was born, you see, then you say, this kid, even if he says I was born in 1976, this kid cannot be born in 1976. I'm not selling to you Uganda Warach. You go. I'm not selling it to you. But it's my father who said to me, you can tell your father to come for it. Because you are certain that this kid may be lying, he's not going to take it. So the challenge is here with our AI systems which we develop. Ethical consideration. You have made that robot which is going to the army to shoot the enemies. But will this robot be able to tell that that enemy, actually that person passing is a child and he has no harm? Hopefully it is going to, as long as the human being shoot. Okay? Now it is seeing a child is passing, the human being is going to shoot. But is this child an enemy? Or can this child even do any harm to you as a gun? Okay, so ethical consideration is a big problem in AI. And you people, you can already do research in that. Ethical reasoning frameworks, you can do an ethical reasoning framework for AI systems. That is a researchable topic. I told you I'm giving you topics. You can come up with an ethical reasoning framework for AI systems. And that is your topic. Okay. Conclusion. So reasoning techniques are fundamental in artificial intelligence, enabling machines to emulate human-like cognitive process such as decision-making, problem-solving, and understanding. And we have ended by saying that ongoing research in reasoning algorithms, knowledge representation, and integration of multiple reasoning approaches continues to advance the field of AI and its application across various domains. Okay, so there are so many things which we can do with AI, I'll give you the slide. I have put some of them there. You can look at them. There's also a case scenario there. CBR is a problem-solving approach that relies on past experience or cases to solve new problems. It involves retrieving similar cases and so on. So I have given you some things there which you can use. Any questions? Anything which is not clear, we clarify it.
Good morning, sir. Just was asking about, are you going to present that document to our group?
Sorry, I'm not getting you very well what you're asking. Hmm? Ask again. I've not understood exactly what you're asking.
That are you going to present the document that you have been studying to date to our respective groups? That's what I was asking. Are you going to share it?
Yeah, and if you go to my YouTube channel, this lecture has been recorded. It will be there.
Okay.
Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Any other question?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
My question is, we have been interacting with certain social media applications.
Mm.
You got to find that they get to know your kind of interest or content. Now, my question is, we also have that inbuilt form of AI application that can get to know that this user is mostly interested in this kind of content, what can unleash for much. According to that, this presentation you can mostly implement. So thank you, sir.
Actually, I've not got clearly your question. I don't know if someone on the group has got him clearly, but I have not picked it very well.
Sorry. Like my question is,
Mm.
we have got to interact with most social media applications.
Mm.
Now they get to bring some content which are similar and you get interested with it.
Mm.
Now, my question is, like, which kind of that is according to this what? Reasoning techniques for artificial intelligence. You have given us the objectives, inductive, the very most they fall into, so that they can be bringing that content, but you are mostly going to watch and like.
I think that one it is inductive because when you look at inductive reasoning, it is observation. So sometimes these social medias, the system behind is observing what people are doing. Say, for example, when you say hi, you are going to say hi, you are going to add sir. So when you say hi, it suggests that sir. Hi, madam. Remember the laptop thing which we said, if someone buys a laptop, then he's going to buy a bag. So I think, I don't know, but to me, I think it uses inductive reasoning based on observations in the past, how things have been happening. Okay. Remember the other man, whenever he comes back at late in the night and I check his phone, he has been talking with a woman lastly. When I check, he has been talking with a woman lastly. So I think that is what these systems are using. I don't know if I'm answering you or you expected something more than, or anyone else can help.
Yeah.
If
Yes, that is it. What is it I want to use? Thank you, sir.
Okay, we are going to have a coursework after this lecture. I'm going to give you a coursework, and this coursework is going to be uploaded on the e-learning platform. It is not going to be sent in any group. So you must be registered on the e-learning platform to access that coursework. And that coursework will have a deadline. To have a deadline, make sure you beat the deadline, because as you have seen, we are using AI systems. For it, it is a rule-based. If the deadline is 30th March, so 30th March, midnight, it will cut you off. And don't look for me to say, please, please, please. So the deadline is going to be there on the system, and make sure you upload your work back onto the system before the deadline. Are we together? Now that coursework, it is going to involve something which we are going to see in the next chapter. In the next chapter, because this coursework, it entails, actually, basically, it entails the reasoning part. We are this chapter for reasoning, and it also has the next chapter. It's going to combine two chapters, the one we have seen today and the chapter we shall see next week. So make sure you do the coursework yourself and upload. This time, don't send that coursework on my email. If you send it on the email, you are in hot soup. It should be sent to the e-learning platform, and that's where the marks will be. The one of the email, you're already out of the rules. As we have seen the rules, you must follow the rules. The rule says coursework on the system. That means if it's not on the system, it is not marked. Are we together? So you keep checking. You'll keep checking on the e-learning platform. As soon as I upload the coursework, you'll see it there. This lecture, I have recorded it, and you check on my YouTube channel, it will be there. So I think we can call it a day if there is no burning question.
Thank you so much. Have a good day, sir.
Same to you.